Hey guys, so today I wanted to do something a little different. It's become a new thing on YouTube to do story time videos where you just kind of do what it means, a story time. You tell about something that's happened to you. And I've always thought those videos were kind of silly because they're usually really dramatic, like with the titles and everything. But I got to thinking and I was like, I have a pretty good story time video I could tell that just happened to me about 4 months ago. So if you guys keep up with my channel, you might know that I moved back in September, October. And I never really clarified why I had to move. I don't believe I ever said anything about it. So my husband and I, when we got married, we moved right across we lived on a dirt road. We lived right across the dirt road from my dad and my grandma and my grandpa. And what we were living in was actually a old milk barn that had been kind of remade into like a living area. Like a dwelling. You could live in it. But all of the walls were like, cinder block and everything like that. But basically it was very hard to keep warm in the wintertime because, like, I don't know how to explain it, but you couldn't hold heat in that place. But that's kind of, I guess, part of the story. Basically, we lived there for a little over 3 years and, kind of dealt with the, the cold in the wintertime and things like that. We just kind of, it was just enough where we could live there, it worked for us. And, so back in September last year, my husband had went on a, basically 2-week, hunting trip. And so he come back from his hunting trip and, I was so happy to see him and everything, and I think he had been home for maybe a day or two, and it was a Monday night, I believe. I had made dinner, and since he had been gone for a while, I was like, I'm gonna make a really good dinner, so I made like a big dinner and everything, and he came home and we ate dinner, and it had got dark outside, and let's see what exactly happened. I walked into the kitchen and for some reason there must have been like another light on. I don't know how to explain it, but I didn't flip the kitchen light on. But I walked into our kitchen and there was just enough light where I was just going into there to like set something down or something. And I happened to kind of see like in the little bit of lighting I had, I could see like that something was on my oven, like on my stove, cooking stove. And I was like, what is that? I thought I cleaned everything up from dinner. So I flipped the light on and there is a snake on our oven. And I was like, I just immediately ran in the living room. I was like, there's a snake on the oven. I was like, oh my gosh. It was just like, what is happening? And so my husband goes in there and looks at it, and after some time we figured out that it was about 14 inches long. So, barely over a foot, and it was patterned up very much like a rattlesnake. And if you know anything about snakes, rattlesnakes are poisonous if they bite you, and especially I've always heard that baby rattlesnakes are more venomous. I don't know if that's completely true, but it's like, oh my gosh, there's a baby rattlesnake in our house. That is freaky, and if there's one, there's probably a bunch more. Basically, it was just like I said, it was 14 inches long, and like instantly we were like, oh my gosh, there's probably more in the house. We don't know how they had got in. And so I called my grandma, which I said lived right across the road, and I was like, we have a problem. I was like, so can we stay at your house tonight? So we went over and stayed at her house that night, and then the following days after that, I bought a bunch of the like sticky pad. They're meant for like catching bugs and things like that in your house. But I bought like a ton of those and set them out all over the house, and just, around like doors and things that we thought maybe there was a hole that it got in through, because like I said, this was a cinder block house and it was just not insulated very well. There was lots of like holes and things, that snakes could crawl through, I suppose, but, you know, in 3 years we had just never had any problems with it. So it was just kind of a shock. But after setting out these traps and after several days, which after that night, we never stayed at that house again because we were just traumatized. We were like, oh my gosh, what if we go to sleep and there's like a snake in the bed with us or something? It was just pretty scary. So after all that happened, we ended up catching seven little baby snakes. And we also found out that they weren't rattlesnakes. They are just, if you know, we call them black snakes, but they're actually called black rat snakes. It's just a typical black snake. They're not poisonous. I don't think so. Anyway, they're not poisonous. And I guess when they're babies, they actually have a pattern on them that looks very similar to a rattlesnake. And it's like some kind of defense mechanism, I guess, for being in the wild. Okay, so my camera just fell off my tripod, so I'm going to try that again. Anyway, so we found out that they were black rat snakes, and we caught, like I said, 7 of them, and it was so crazy. But through all this time, like, I don't even remember how much time it was now. It was at least a couple weeks or so that we stayed at either my grandma's house or my dad's house, and it just so all worked out that, so the place that I grew up living in is just like 10 minutes down the road from where we were living in this milk barn, and it was where I grew up. And my dad we had moved out of there like 6 years before that or so, and my dad had several different renters that lived there, and just that summer before that, the renters had moved out. So this place was empty for us, you know, to be able to move into. So it was a huge blessing that we were able to have somewhere to move into, because, you know, we did not want to move back down to that, you know, to the milk barn, because even if we did find out, you know, where the holes were and plugged them up, there was just like an eerie feeling almost, you know, anytime you were in there anymore, you were just kind of like looking around like, oh my gosh, where's the snake at? And so anyways, we moved, and so like I said, we're just like, you know, a few miles down the road from where we used to live, so that works out good, so I can still be close to my family and all that kind of jazz. And if you guys even know any more deeper details about my life, you know that I help my dad with our farm. We have cows and goats and things, and I have to help, you know, with different chores around the farm, so I'm still close enough that I'm able to do that when I need to, so that's good. That is my story time. So our house was full of snakes, and it was terrifying. And since then, my uncle has actually started, like, fixing the place up and, like, using it as, like, a second, like, kind of weekend home, I guess you could call it. He just kind of hangs out there when he wants to. But I don't know. I guess they sealed up a lot of the holes and things in it, and they think that it's snake-proof now. But I'm still leery of it, so I probably won't ever be living there again. So anyways, if you ever wondered why we had to move and why I'm in this, like, mysterious location, then all my couple years worth of videos previously were, that is why we moved. And I really like, this is kind of beside the point, but I really like, where I film now. As far as the lighting, I feel like I'm in front of a window right now, so I feel like that's the best kind of lighting you can get. But background-wise, I'm really still working on that. It is very bad. I need to figure out some kind of way to put like a backdrop or something behind me, so it's not like this cabinet thing behind me and walls. I need to work on that. But as far as the lighting, I really like the spot that I've chosen as my filming spot. But anyways, I guess that's it. So I just wanted to tell you guys about that because it was a very traumatic experience in my life. I hope you guys like this video. If you want more storytime videos like this, then please give this video a thumbs up, and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because I post a brand new video every single Friday. But I'm probably going to post this one early because this was not really a planned video. This morning I thought I need to make a video about that because that would be really interesting. Anyways, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!